No one is buying these world-class golf clubs anymore. What has happened to these tour level, world-class golf clubs that at one point in time was #1 in their category and most used by many professionals? But the year is 2022 and any golfer starting in this era probably wouldn't even have heard of the name. Let's take advantage of this fact and show you some of the performance that you can get from these and unbelievably affordable prices that you can pick them up for. The best bit I love about these two clubs is that I can sit here, show you the face, front and sides, and none of you, okay, a few of you are going to know exactly what I've got here. Some of you veterans, some of you experts, but a good portion of you guys won't have a single idea what I have on camera right now. And the best bit is these things look like they've come out in 2022. If I said this was a TaylorMade hybrid, if I told you this was a Callaway Proto, if I told you this was Mizuno's new best thing, to be honest, I think a lot of you probably would believe me. Now, today's video wouldn't have been possible without the help from Replay Golf, who at the moment is letting me borrow some clubs for future video ideas. So firstly, thank you to them, and please give them some love and support in the comments down below. But not only that, please comment what kind of videos you want to see in the future. Whereas before we were bound by the amount of equipment I could get my hands on, now it's just the amount of ideas that we can come up with and the tests you guys really want to see. Now it's very apparent we have two different head designs here that are going to be for two completely different players, and that is exactly what hybrids are. Some of you guys will have 3 hybrids in the bag because you need the help in launch and forgiveness. Some of you guys will only have 1 utility club, which the only job is for finding a fairway, and these two clubs here couldn't be further apart. The bit that I love most is because this brand is so underrated, so unknown in the world of 2022, that you could find these easily for around the 40 to 50 pound mark. And the fact these things are ticking boxes in terms of aesthetics, price, sound and performance, for me personally, if you're looking for a new utility club to slot in the bag, it'd be an absolute travesty if you didn't have a look at one of these. Okay, a couple of shots down the 20th, the par 5 on the lakes here, and both shots got away nicely, apart from the fact that I slipped when it came to that butter knife blade tight lying proto of a hybrid. And this thing is so unique. It is designed for me personally for a burnout links course. It basically merges into the fairway or the tee box, and it is designed to keep the ball low. Not that low, because I slipped essentially and I hit another one, but you can see the different ball flights with both clubs. One is designed to get the ball up in the air, the other is to penetrate and keep it under all the elements so that you have ultimate control. And just like every other utility club that's ever come out on the market, that is essentially what you're getting. A small utility club is designed for that control, but you're going to lose forgiveness and launch. The bigger headed ones are going to help with those off-center hits, but if it's a blowy day or into wind day, you're definitely going to feel the effects of that forgiveness and launch when it comes to distance. I am of course talking about Adams hybrids, and these are just one of the many varieties of Adams hybrids. These are the more modern day ones, for example, and to be perfectly honest, I think a lot of you guys that might have tried Adams hybrids in the past is that the older ones are the ones that are better, the ones that are a bit more unique. There are thousands of the modern day hybrids now. Whatever brand you go down, they all do exactly the same thing. Whereas if you're looking for something a bit cheaper but giving you the performance without the name brand, or trying to find that one in a million, the hybrid that doesn't exist anymore, the only way I could potentially describe what this is a TaylorMade gapper. And there's a reason why the TaylorMade gapper would look something similar to this, is because TaylorMade bought Adams for the specific rights to use the technology in their hybrids alone. And it makes a lot of sense because even in 2013, 2010, European Tour, PGA Tour, this was one of the most popular hybrids on the market, especially when it came to professionals using it. So there it goes without saying that how well these clubs actually do perform. And in a world of everyone looking for the extra edge, the more distance, more forgiveness, sometimes you need something that you're just a bit more confident with. And the fact that both of these clubs are so high performing, but with such little attention in the market, it means that you potentially can find that confidence building club, whether it's your fairway finder or that help in the 160-yard mark to get up and around the green. You're not going to break the bank, and you're going to be able to try something different that, let's be honest, no one's really making anymore. Interesting little test on the par 3 here down on the lakes, because if you've got a very high club head speed or a very slow club head speed, to hit a hybrid 180 yards, we're all going to have to swing the club at a relatively similar swing speed. Therefore, you get to see the two different ball flights here. Now, I didn't hit either of these well because I tried to hit a high fade with both, but you get to see the different trajectories that both of these head designs are for. One, low, penetrating, and if you catch it right, nothing in the world is going to touch it. The other, high launching, forgiving, a bit more unruly, but it means on those off-center hits, just like I had with this one, not only are you going to get more launch, also going to get more forgiveness. Neither of these clubs are right or wrong, but they're just built for two completely different players. Another great added feature of that tight lie head design, and there's no wonder they obviously incorporated it into their wood selection in the later years with the tight lie series, is that it feels so much more versatile around the greens. And if you're one of these players that wants that bump and run shot, potentially has a chipper in the bag, potentially already uses your rescue for those 20-yard pitch, the ones that just get out the rough or just give that tiny bit of elevation and then roll onto the green, the head design just invokes confidence, especially for someone that doesn't use one around the green. I could see myself using this as a particular shot, especially in winter when all you need is a bit of oomph up around the green, opposed to the check and release that you would obviously use with your wedge. I'm not saying it's the be all end all, but for a club that's already reasonable on the second-hand market, having another added feature like this just seems like an extra bonus. One of the great things I've found testing these two hybrids side by side is how different they actually are. When you try these draw bias heads, low spin heads, maximum forgiving heads, apart from potentially the idea of a placebo effect, or maybe you're one of those robotic golf swingers that just swing it exactly the same each time, they're seeing those minute changes in ball flight, launch angle and spin. I can see very apparently how different these two head designs actually are. As let's be honest, with golfers that have so many variabilities in their swing on a daily basis, I don't need minute changes, I need big ones. So I'm not going to name and list every Adams hybrid that you should be looking at, but I will show you down the side here some great recommendations, and all of these hybrids are going to be around the 30-40 pound mark. And the best bit about all of this is the more you go back in time, I feel the better chance you're going to get something that's going to suit your needs. As the Adams line, when it brought out the Adams blue clubs and when it brought out the speed line clubs, I felt like all of this was trying to tailor to the more modern market. It's realistically, for me, Adams hybrids should just stay in their lane, go into that niche. And I'm not saying these are going to suit absolutely everything. You guys, throughout this video, is that if you've got the appropriate shaft and if you've got the appropriate head design packed with good fundamental technology, that is going to be the club that will find that fairway. That will be that club that can be your new approach toy into that 160-yard green. And at the worst case scenario, if it isn't that particular club or it doesn't turn out to work for you, or your swing does eventually change, you've only had to spend 40 to 50 pounds to find out that was the case, opposed to the hybrids that come out in 2022 edging on the 200 pound mark for a club realistically you're only going to be using 7 times through 18 holes. For me, the scales seem to weigh a lot heavier into the classic world #1 ranking hybrid on tour, opposed to the manufacturers that bring out the same thing over and over again for the last 10 years. Guys, if you liked this video, you might like this one up here on the left hand side. Catch you guys later.